When Hogwarts Legacy came out a couple of years ago, it took the gaming world by storm, igniting sales charts and arguably saving Warner Brothers' gaming division from flop after flop, and obviously the flop of last year with Suicide Squad. The game was a magical experience and captured the feels of the film perfectly. The game was available on everything, even Switch One, and that edition was always a curious thing as to how it would run. And poorly was the answer. An interesting curio to see how they made it run on Switch, but definitely not a joy to play. But here we are, a brand new Switch 2 edition promising a big upgrade. So let's see how they did, shall we? The game itself is still very much the same. You're a new late student to Hogwarts, and there's mysteries abound. And like the original release, the story is its weakest element. It's very bland and very forgettable, but everything else is pretty great. The exploration of Hogwarts and the surrounding world is an utter joy. The missions and the combat are very enjoyable. And for a first go, Disney Infinity developers Avalanche knocked it out the park. The game was easily an 8 out of 10 and 8.5 out of 10 any day of the week. But on the Switch 2 edition, what's actually new? Well, let's start off with the elephant in the room, the performance. The Switch 1 edition is an admirable effort. To get the thing running is an impossible job, but they managed it. Guess the huge amount of Switch owners had a factor in getting this port happening. The load times are long, the game looks muddy, the frame rate is a bit of a mess, and it isn't really open world as stuff is sectioned off with load screens. It's good for what it is, but definitely not the best way to play. On the Switch 2, the graphics have seen a noticeable upgrade, definitely more in line with the PS4 with better textures, character models, and a proper open world with hardly any load screens. Bar story missions and the initial game load, there isn't really many load screens whatsoever, and thankfully the loading itself is pretty darn short. The game aims for 1440p docked whilst 1080p in handheld whilst both running at 30 FPS. In dock, the game looks great on both an OLED and a standard 1080p screen. On handheld side of things it does look good, but some character models' hair shimmers a lot and some of the textures and the skybox do look noticeably a bit bad. It looks good, definitely better than the Switch one, but it was quite noticeable. But in the game's defense, we are talking about a handheld version of the game, and honestly this is the best looking handheld version out there, offering a way better experience than Steam Deck. The game sticks at its 30 FPS lock for pretty much all the time. It would have been cool if we saw 40 FPS mode like in Cyberpunk, but it definitely does get the job done. I could see a 40 FPS mode happening in the game as this game is always updated, which is definitely needed as I notice a couple of glitches here and there. There's nothing too bad and it's more funny than anything, but for a game that's been out for this long, it definitely shouldn't be a thing. The biggest inclusion with Hogwarts Legacy on Switch 2 is its mouse controls. One of the biggest new additions with the Switch 2 is the mouse controls, and they are a delight, and Hogwarts Legacy puts them to good use. From controlling your broom to navigating menus, it's a real joy and definitely a cool way to play. I'm really surprised by how good mouse controls are being implemented into titles, and looking forward to see how well they are used moving forward with the Switch lifespan. As for the release of Hogwarts Legacy, you can buy the physical edition, which is a key card, which means you have to download the whole game. Thankfully, it's only around about 20 gigabytes, so it doesn't take too long to download. But there is a Switch 1 to Switch 2 upgrade path, and it's around about $10 to do so. It gives you access to the new version. If you've played the first game physically, if you have the physical edition, then you have to get the upgrade through the in-game menus. I didn't know about this, so I ended up getting the Switch 2 physical edition of the game and traded in my Switch 1 version. The Switch 2 version is one of the cheapest Switch 2 games out there, but you can get the Switch 1 version for around about £20, add in like the £10 upgrade, and you can get it for under about 30 quid. So have a look around and find the price point that's right for you. So conclusion time now, and Hogwarts Legacy is a nice notable upgrade over the Switch 1 version, feeling way more in line with the PS4 edition. It's still a magical game and a joy to explore, though the old issues still remained, like a lackluster story and the eventual open world fatigue with so many collectibles to nab. But the Switch 2 version is the best place to play portably. The inclusion of mouse controls and a proper open world is brilliant. It's just a shame that some of the parts still look a little bit rough and there's a few glitches here and there. But overall, I'll give Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch 2 8 out of 10 with the title of great. As always, thank you ever so much for watching my video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be totally awesome. And as always, till next time, bye.